The Hugo Marquis family mansion stands elegantly amidst vibrant gardens. Inside, a young lady with flowing purple hair sleeps peacefully, like a princess from a fairy tale. Just as her name is about to be revealed, her bright blue eyes snap open, filled with surprise and urgency. Everyone in the Hugo Marquis family focuses on the young lady. She's the valedictorian of the Academy's magic department and a top graduate, having been admitted to the magic tower. With personal assets of 3 billion gold, she's recognized as a future tower master. I, Arasilla Hugo, am getting married. Arasilla confidently announces, "My partner will be Lord Vandermeer." The family reacts with shock and disbelief, some even laughing. Known for her eccentricity, Arasilla stands tall with her staff, her reputation as a genius magician preceding her. 3 years ago, Arasilla declared at dinner, "I will never marry. I'll devote my life to the magic tower." Her family, familiar with her dramatic declarations, reacts with a mix of amusement and exasperation. A family member wonders if Arasilla is causing trouble again, while another thinks she's still dreaming. There's concern about her being alert and causing more trouble. Her sudden marriage declaration leaves everyone confused, prompting questions about her intentions. Arasilla's older sister, Iris Hugo, expresses concern over the sudden marriage announcement, asking if something is wrong. Arasilla, unable to reveal her true motivation, thinks, "What should I tell them? I can't say this is all for my sister's sake." The reason for Arasilla's marriage declaration is to prevent her sister Iris' death. Arasilla has a secret: she has prophetic dreams. After 5 years, another dream has surfaced, weighing heavily on her mind. In her prophetic dream, Arasilla saw Iris dying, sacrificed to a political marriage. The dream is vivid and terrifying, showing Iris alone and condemned. Arasilla, desperate, calls out, "Sister!" as she tries to save her. Iris, weak and imprisoned, asks, "Ari, how did you get here?" Arasilla, holding a lamp, apologizes for not visiting sooner. Iris thanks her, and Arasilla, reaching through the bars, expresses her helplessness with tears. Iris admits, "No, it's partly my fault for not knowing anything." Arasilla insists, "Sister, you did nothing wrong. The guilty one is your husband." Guards gossip about Iris' husband, calling him insane and accusing him of treason, as Arasilla tries to comfort her sister. Iris questions why Arasilla should suffer, and laments the existence of the will that prevents Lord Vandermeer from inheriting the duchy. Arasilla is shocked to learn about the secret conflict between Iris' husband and his brother. "I only learned after marriage that my husband was secretly fighting with his brother." A memory of Lord Vandermeer, the Red Hawk Knights commander, flashes. Iris, battered, tries to reassure Arasilla, who asks, "Are you all right, sister?" Iris, weakly, makes a final request, struggling to hold herself together. Iris, with tears, asks Arasilla to tell their family she's sorry, and to take care of them. Arasilla sobs as Iris is executed for being a traitor's wife. News of the execution spreads, with people questioning their sanity. Arasilla sits alone, clutching a newspaper, her hands trembling. She thinks, "I should have been the one. I should have been the one to marry instead." Grief and guilt overwhelm her. Now in the present, Arasilla stands with Iris, thinking, quote, "I can hardly use a prophetic dream as my reason for marriage." Iris teases, "Have you been secretly meeting the Lord without telling us?" Arasilla denies knowing him. Iris, confused, asks, "Then why are you getting married?" The family panics, thinking something's wrong. Arasilla declares, "We already have a political marriage arranged with the Vandermeer Duchy. I'll be the one in this marriage." Arasilla excuses herself, leaving her stunned family. Walking down the grand hallway, she thinks, "So Mom and Dad already knew about this. Well, if it were me, I'd have trouble bringing up such a ridiculous political marriage too." Arasilla vividly remembers her prophetic dream, the rain pouring at her sister's wedding, the heavy atmosphere, and the sense of dread. She sees herself standing among the guests, helplessly watching her sister's fate. She recalls Iris' stiff expression, trapped in an unwanted marriage to Lord Vandermeer. Arasilla is angry at the political games using her sister for inheritance fights and vows not to let her be a pawn. Arasilla rushes into the library determined. She thinks, "This marriage can never be called off, and I can't let my sister marry that bastard." She grabs a quill, ready to take action, deciding to enter the marriage herself. Arasilla's eyes fill with resolve. That way, I can somehow prevent her death. But that's not enough. The sin of causing my sister's miserable death runs deeper. So I need to marry Lord Vandermeer, not that man. She looks at the letter and thinks, "It'll change the entire succession game." Addressing Lord Vandermeer, she admits, "Honestly, I am not particularly fond of you either, but I'll be meeting your face soon." At Lord Vandermeer's mansion, a servant announces an urgent letter for the commander. The white-haired man, dressed in red, reads the name, surprised. Arasilla Hugo? Red Hawk Knights commander Demian Vandermeer reads Arasilla's letter. She writes about meeting before the ceremony. Demian wonders why she would write to him. Demian stands silent, letter in hand, deep in thought. Hess, the second son of the Vandermeer family, and Arasilla's fiancé-to-be. He thinks, so it's true that no magician is ever in their right mind. He burns the letter, resolving never to get involved with Arasilla. Demian, the second son of the Vandermeer family and Arasilla's fiancé, repeats to himself. He burns the letter. It's true that no magicians are in their right mind. He burns the letter, thinking, I never want to associate with them for the rest of my life. Despite his resolve, Arasilla arrives at the gates. She greets, Hello, Lord Vandermeer. I am Arasilla Hugo. Did you hurt your hand? Her bright, confident smile catches everyone's attention. Arasilla explains, Since you didn't reply, I was worried you might be injured, so I rushed over. Demian, unimpressed, thinks, This woman is insane. Demian wonders how she could ignore his letter. His resolution not to get involved lasted only 3 days. 5 minutes before Demian's resolve crumbled, the Red Hawk Knights are training. The vice commander, Isaac Wind, is approached by knights about a young lady's visit. Isaac looks surprised. Arasilla, with her signature confidence, asks, Are you the vice commander? Perfect timing. I've come to see Lord Vandermeer. I sent a letter in advance. Where is his lordship? Isaac replies, he hasn't arrived yet. If I may ask, who are you? She responds, Arasilla Hugo. Arasilla announces, one of the Empire's most renowned genius magicians. Isaac repeats, a magician. The knights whisper, I've heard of her. Isn't she that weirdo from the Magic Tower? What nerve does a magician have showing up here? Arasilla thinks, no wonder. I thought some noblewoman had rudely visited, but it's just typical for her kind. Isaac apologizes, Lady Hugo, I apologize. Your presence is disrupting our training, so... She smirks. Your superior must be quite lazy, Isaac, annoyed, says, Please refrain from disrespectful remarks about our commander. Arasilla asks, Did I hurt your feelings? Isaac says, It's fine. Compared to how your superior made me come all this way, this is nothing. Suddenly, the knights spot Demian arriving. What's all this commotion? Commander! You've arrived, sir! The knights stand at attention as Demian approaches. Arasilla greets, Hello, Lord Vandermeer. I am Arasilla Hugo. Did you hurt your hand? Since you didn't reply, I was worried you might be injured, so I rushed over. Demian responds, Greetings, Lady Hugo. I am Demian Vandermeer. I am not injured. Arasilla asks, Did you tear up my letter? Demian is silent. He calls Isaac. Isaac responds, Yes, Commander. Demian says, You've all been late to training. Run 50 laps around the grounds. Isaac answers, Yes, sir. My apologies. Demian turns to Arasilla. Lady, please follow me to my office. She responds, Yes, gladly. As Arasilla and Demian walk together, the narration notes that the prospective couple met for the first time. Their true feelings are already burning intensely. Arasilla thinks, acting so damn arrogant. Demian thinks, what a strange mind. He apologizes. I apologize for not responding to your letter. I was busy and forgot. Arasilla says, Well, I am sure you have mountains of work. Demian replies, If that's why you came, please return home. I have no intention of marrying you, my lady. Arasilla asks, Are you aware of the arranged marriage between our families? Demian says, This is the first I am hearing of it. She explains, I only found out recently myself. Demian firmly states, I refuse. Arasilla looks annoyed. This isn't something you can thoughtlessly refuse. Arasilla demands, And why do you refuse? She boasts, I am strong enough to have earned first-class merit by handling a major monster outbreak in the south last winter. Add to that my beautiful appearance and the achievement of being a candidate for Magic Tower Master. Demian looks unimpressed as she continues her list of qualifications. Demian says, Above all, you want to push aside your brother and claim the duchy, don't you? He wonders, how does this woman know that? Arasilla smiles, I can help you. Lady Arasilla Hugo. Demian says, So it was you, the magician who parasitically stole our knight's achievements during last year's southern monster subjugation. Arasilla, shocked and angry, shouts, Wow, I saved your life and you call me a parasite? Demian accuses, You were just watching the whole time, then stepped in when you saw your gain, weren't you? Arasilla yells, What did you say? Hey! Her anger starts to affect her magic, making the teacup shake. Demian smirks, It's amusing to hear this from a magician who can't control her emotions. Just as the marriage proposal was about to turn into a challenge, Arasilla's maid, Audrey, bursts in, yelling, Miss, please calm down! You promised not to hit people anymore. Audrey tries to restrain Arasilla, reminding her of her past outbursts. Arasilla shouts, "I need to teach that arrogant knight who doesn't recognize his life's savior a lesson." Audrey pleads, "You can show him later." Demian tells Audrey, "Don't overstep by interfering in your mistress' affairs, just leave it be." Arasilla yells, "You'll regret treating me like this," as she swings her fan with dramatic flair. Demian says, "Lady, you should mind your own business regarding other families' affairs before you regret it. I don't need your help, because your succession rights depend on this arranged marriage. Your grandfather left a will. It states that the grandson, who marries Hugo's granddaughter, will inherit the duchy and fortune." Demian, flustered, says, "That's absurd." Arasilla explains, "It was a promise made before His Imperial Majesty, so you should look into it." She stands, "I've said all I needed to. The choice is yours. Let's go, Audrey." Audrey follows as they leave Demian behind, stunned. Demian repeats to himself, "Grandfather left a will tying succession to a political marriage? If that's true, then I'll have to marry that crazy woman." Arasilla, meanwhile, thinks, let him suffer. Recapping the previous events, Arasilla's proposal duel was interpreted as a proposal. She fumes, "If it weren't for Audrey, I would have really taught him a lesson." With her heart still racing, Arasilla returns home. Iris calls out, "Ari, what's the occasion? You came to greet me?" Iris tries to act casual, but Arasilla's younger brother Adrian runs up crying, "Sis." The narration introduces Adrian Hugo as the heir of the Hugo Marquis family. Arasilla laughs, "Adrian, you're really ugly." Adrian wails and Iris scolds, "Didn't I tell you to stop teasing the youngest?" Arasilla just giggles. Iris asks, "So why is our little Adrian crying? Tell me." Adrian sobs, "You're getting married. Mom said you'd leave home if you got married. I don't like that. Can't you just not get married?" Arasilla replies, "Nope, I can't." Iris sighs, "Sis, this isn't teasing anymore. It's from the heart." Iris reassures Adrian, "Just because I am getting married doesn't mean I am leaving you. I'll always be your second sister." Adrian nods, and Iris adds, "We'll always be the 3 Hugo siblings, even until we die. Even if my surname changes after marriage, my roots won't." Adrian says, "Okay. Still 3, I don't want you to get married. I don't like Lord Vandermeer either." Arasilla asks, "What do you mean you don't like him? When have you ever even met him? If not him, then IFD have to marry an even worse guy." Iris interjects, "What do you mean, a worse guy?" Iris asks, "Arasilla, are you really doing this just because of a political marriage?" Arasilla hesitates, "No, I am not." Iris reminds her, "You have that dream of becoming the master of the Mage Tower. So don't get tied down by some arranged marriage. Do what you really want. You've got your big sister here after all." Arasilla flashes back to her prophetic dream of Iris' death. She thinks, "It's not because of a political marriage that I want to marry Lord Vandermeer." Iris asks, "Then why?" Arasilla struggles to answer, knowing she can't reveal the truth. Arasilla finally says, "I just like him as a person." Iris accuses her of lying. "You never like anyone without a reason." Arasilla blurts out, "I like his face." Iris and Adrian are shocked. "Just because of his face? That's not like you at all." Arasilla yells, "What do you mean? I have everything else, so why can't I pick a guy just for his looks?" Iris retorts, "That's rich, coming from you. You always say your face is the best and never care about anyone else's." Arasilla insists, "This time's different. Actually, I am in a love marriage with Lord Vandermeer." Iris looks skeptical. "You said you didn't even know his face or name before." Arasilla suddenly yelps, "Ouch! He said he'd send me a letter, so I'd better go wait for it." She runs off, leaving Iris and Adrian behind. Adrian asks, "Is our second sister really getting married?" Iris hesitates. Well, Arasilla thinks I've done everything I could. Now all that's left is for that guy Demian Vandermeer to give his blessing." Arasilla pleads, "So please, my lady, just send your reply quickly this time!" Demian turns away, and once again he doesn't reply for an entire week. The narration says it's been a week since Demian ghosted her letter, leaving Arasilla frustrated and waiting. Demian sighs, what was Grandpa thinking when he left such a will? He realizes, the family's already eager to erase me anyway. Everyone else in the ducal house knew about this will except me. He remembers being left out and isolated by his family. Demian's half-brother, Oscar Vandermeer, is introduced. The narration explains that everything is being handed over to Oscar, the incompetent half-brother. Demian thinks, I have to stop this. He looks at Arasilla, knowing she wants to push Oscar aside and take the dukedom. Demian is shocked. What? He realizes, this marriage is a revolution. A command no one in this empire can defy. In other words, if I marry that woman, I can obtain everything of the Vandermeers. He starts to see the marriage as a way to secure his future. Demian reads Arasilla's letter again and thinks, Arasilla Hugo, she might not be completely insane after all. At the Hugo mansion, a servant announces, My lady, a letter from Lord Vandermeer has arrived. Arasilla thanks Audrey, her maid, for bringing the letter. Arasilla fumes, That rude Demian Vandermeer. Audrey, startled by Arasilla's outburst, asks, What's going on? Arasilla shoves the letter at her. Audrey, read this! Audrey teases, My lady, really now one secretly dating Lord Vandermeer? Audrey reads the letter aloud. To Lady Arasilla Hugo, I request to meet you at 3 p.m. tomorrow at Foreign Coffee House on 7th Street. Let's discuss in more detail what we talked about in my office previously. Demian Vandermeer, Crimson Hawk Knights. Arasilla is outraged. Wow, look at this reply. He just casually states the time and place like a notice? A whole week late, and not even a shred of decency. Audrey tries to calm her. My lady, please calm down. Arasilla rants. He didn't use the family name, he used his knight order instead. Like anyone's dying to know he's part of the Crimson Hawk Knights. Normally, people list their noble house. That's pretty odd. It's not odd, it's just an inflated ego. That arrogant jerk Demian. She storms off, fuming. Arasilla, determined, writes, Let's see who wins. She hands the letter to Audrey. Send this to Lord Vandermeer. Audrey, nervous, takes the letter. Arasilla writes, Let's meet at 5. Arasilla Hugo, Mage Tower Sorceress. Demian, reading her letter, thinks, They're both so ridiculously childish. Audrey says, Then good night, my lady. Arasilla replies, You too, Audrey, she mutters, that obnoxious Vandermeer. Demian, elsewhere, thinks, That crazy sorceress. Both are determined, thinking, As long as I get what I want. Arasilla, with fierce resolve, thinks, I'll divorce him immediately. Demian, equally determined, stares ahead. The narration says, And so, the night deepened for the soon-to-be-wed couple who had just arranged their first date. At the magic tower, Arasilla is working with floating blue crystals. She wishes, I wish it would float a bit higher. Sally and Rudy, her direct juniors, watch her. Sally says trying to levitate something without magic is no easy task. Rudy offers to look for ways to reduce the weight of the levitation stone. Arasilla explains, Since the levitation stone itself needs to absorb magical power for longer, well, try adjusting the composition of raw materials. Sally agrees to continue the research. Arasilla checks the clock, realizing it's time to go. She instructs, quote, Organize today's research with Rudy and leave it on my desk by tomorrow morning. Sally asks, Are you leaving, senior? Arasilla waves goodbye, saying, I have an appointment. Keep up the good work. As she leaves, Sally and Rudy exchange curious glances. It's been ages since our senior left work this early, Sally remarks. Rudy adds, And look at her trying so hard not to be late. Just who could she be meeting? They both wonder about the mysterious meeting. Audrey shouts, Run! As she and Arasilla dash to the carriage. Audrey exclaims, Eek, my lady, I reminded you an hour ago. Arasilla apologizes. Sorry, I was so absorbed in the levitation stone research. Anyway, run! They sprint through the city, determined to make it to the meeting on time. Arriving at the coffee bar, Arasilla declares, Time to settle things. Audrey, catching her breath, says, My lady, just a moment. Are you going like that? It's your first official date? Even a pretty dress wouldn't be too much. Arasilla shrugs. It's fine. I am too good for him in any form. Audrey insists. Then at least tie up your hair. Arasilla reluctantly agrees. Arasilla tells Audrey, You wait here for a bit. I'll go in alone. Audrey tries to stop her, but Arasilla confidently strides into the coffee house, ready to face Demian. Audrey prays, Dear God, please let this be resolved without any bloodshed. Arasilla enters and greets. Hello, Lord Vandermeer. Demian, sitting at a table, says, You're late, lady. Demian says, 3 whole minutes late. Arasilla, annoyed, replies, Don't be so petty, just bear with it. Is this comparable to how late you were when I came to meet you? Arasilla thinks, Ugh, how distasteful. Wearing a knight uniform, even in private. Demian retorts, Says the one wearing a magic tower uniform. He asks, What are you looking at? Let's order. Arasilla snaps, I'll order whatever I want? A server arrives. Enjoy your meal. Arasilla taunts, You said you didn't need me, but it seems you need me now? Demian quietly admits, Yes, I admit it, I need Lady Hugo. Arasilla, surprised, has admitting it so easily. Demian says, So let's make a deal. What do you want from this marriage, my lady? Arasilla replies, I want 2 things. For my sister not to marry a Vandermeer. Demian agrees, fine. Arasilla adds, and for you to divorce me as quickly as possible? Demian says, fine, I have no desire whatsoever to start a family either. Then let me propose specific conditions. No children during the marriage period, no unnecessary physical contact. We'll actively work for each other's benefit. We won't pry into each other's secrets. Divorce immediately once I inherit the title of Duke. How does that sound? Arasilla smiles, I accept, and we'll have the prenuptial contract notarized at the temple. Demian agrees, sounds good, agreed. Audrey, watching from outside, thinks, I can't hear a word, but the atmosphere seems positive. Arasilla says, by the way, I've already told my family we're in a love marriage, but we must keep it secret from the Vandermeer ducal family until right before the wedding. Demian asks, why? Demian explains, my family is pushing for my older brother to be the next duke. If they find out, they'll certainly interfere. Arasilla asks, is your brother's position that secure? Demian explains, well, he is the son of the current duchess. My mother was the previous duchess who has passed away. Arasilla thinks, so his brother's mother is the second wife, and his mother was the first wife. Complicated. Arasilla says, let's be clever about this. Demian asks, what do you mean? Arasilla brings up the upcoming ball hosted by the Crown Prince, where all the famous young nobles gather. She proposes they use the imperial ball to their advantage. Arasilla grins, let's announce our marriage there. Demian is shocked. What? She clarifies, are you slow to understand? I am, saying we should announce our marriage at the imperial ball. Demian worries, if we mess up, we could ruin the Crown Prince's ball and earn his disfavor. Arasilla assures him, that won't happen. That Crown Prince happens to be one of my few friends. Demian is surprised. She has friends? Arasilla says it's better to create a situation where they can't interfere than to try hiding it. Demian agrees, then let's do that. Arasilla stands and offers her hand. Good. We'll discuss the details gradually. I look forward to working with you. As they leave, Demian reminds Arasilla about the second condition, no unnecessary physical contact. Have you forgotten? Arasilla, embarrassed, thinks, well, people with poor memory tend to forget things. Audrey, waiting outside, wonders, I wonder how pleasant my lady's date is going. Demian leaves the coffee house, passing Audrey, who is surprised to see him alone. Audrey wonders, wait, why is Lord Vandermeer coming out alone? Inside, Arasilla fumes, I'll have my revenge. Audrey asks, my lady, what happened inside? Arasilla grabs Audrey, let's go! Audrey asks, where to? Arasilla shouts, we need to get a dress fitted for next week's ball. Audrey is shocked. My lady in a dress? The narration says Arasilla swallowed her burning emotions toward Demian. Audrey and Arasilla rush to the carriage. The driver asks, where shall I take you? Arasilla says, I'll drive, so get in the carriage. Audrey is confused, but Arasilla insists, it's fine, just get in. She takes the reins and yells, let's go, run! Arasilla races through the city, determined to get to the ball and announce her marriage. She shouts, I'll have my revenge! The narration says that with the marriage announcement ahead, Arasilla began racing toward the ball with full determination. Demian says, 3 whole minutes late. Arasilla retorts, don't be so petty, just bear with it. Is this comparable to how late you were when I came to meet you? She thinks, ugh, how distasteful. Wearing a knight uniform, even in private. Demian responds, says the one wearing a Magic Tower uniform. He says, what are you looking at? Let's order. Arasilla snaps, I'll order whatever I want. It's prom day at the Hugo estate. Iris asks Arasilla, are you really going to announce your marriage today? Arasilla responds, of course I am. Tomorrow, I am going to fill every newspaper with my wedding news. Iris worries, announcing your engagement at the Crown Prince's party. Iris asks, is His Highness okay with that? Arasilla says Frederick was totally fine with it. As my best friend. Frederick is introduced as Arasilla's friend since Academy days and the second prince of the empire. He's gentle, eloquent, and a contender for the throne over the first prince. Audrey is brushing Arasilla's hair. Arasilla asks, what's wrong, Audrey? Audrey says, I am just worried about the broken-hearted ladies, since Lord Vandermeer is so popular. Arasilla shrugs. Why worry about that? Iris says, because Lord Vandermeer is the dream of every noble lady. Even you admit he's handsome. He went abroad to study at a young age, returning as the youngest swordmaster ever. Everyone calls Demian a mad dog but still admires him. Iris warns, just marrying him will make enemies for you. Arasilla sighs, realizing she'll be targeted by jealous noble women. Iris notes, that face only comes out when she really doesn't care even a speck. Iris grabs her hand, anyway, Arasilla, promise me. Iris makes Arasilla promise that you won't cause any trouble except for the marriage announcement. Arasilla smiles. Okay. The narration says, the moment Arasilla replied boldly, Iris knew it in her gut. Arasilla was absolutely going to cause an even bigger scene. Iris asks, Arasilla, but when will my hair be done? Arasilla ignores her, focused on her own preparations. The narration says, like she's going to listen to me anyway. The scene shifts to the imperial palace of the Citron Empire, where an extravagant ball is being held. A herald announces, Lady Iris Hugo and Lady Arasilla Hugo are now entering. Arasilla, in a stunning red dress, surveys the crowd. She thinks, so many people, as expected of a palace ball. She stands out, drawing attention as she enters with her sister. Noble ladies whisper, oh my, the sisters arriving together. What a rare sight. How long has it been since Lady Arasilla last made an appearance? Arasilla thinks, it started. The noble ladies gossip. Another says, I bet the Hugo sisters will monopolize all the dance requests tonight. A friend replies, not necessarily. Not everyone here is just a shallow face chaser, after all. Arasilla grins, thinking, this is it! Talk about me like that. Spread the news of today far and wide. She gets closer to Iris, who warns, Ari, look ahead. Arasilla is too caught up in her excitement to notice what's coming. Arasilla looks up, confused, and sees Demian approaching in formal attire. He looks regal and composed, catching everyone's attention. Arasilla is momentarily stunned by his presence. The crowd erupts with excitement, shouting, Kia! It's Lord Vandermeer! Girls swoon. Ah, he's like a walking statue. Demian walks confidently, all eyes on him as he enters the ballroom. Demian approaches Arasilla and says, good evening, Lady Hugo. Arasilla responds, hello, Lord Vandermeer. The crowd is shocked. What? Did Lord Vandermeer just talk to her? No way. I can't believe it. The crowd whispers, just what is their relationship? Demian says, I've been waiting. Arasilla replies, I am glad to see you, Lord Vandermeer, because I've been planning to get revenge on you. The crowd is stunned by their interaction. People whisper, are they dating? So Lady Hugo and Lord Vandermeer are a couple. The attention is entirely on them. Some gossip. But he's a knight and she's a mage. A love that transcends status? Arasilla thinks, now's the moment. Arasilla extends her hand. Lord Vandermeer, will you grant me a dance? She smiles brightly, confident and bold, as Demian looks at her in surprise. The crowd reacts with shock, some yelling, no way! Iris beams with excitement. Demian, sweating nervously, thinks, no way, as Arasilla waits for his answer. Demian remembers their agreement. Have you forgotten our second agreement? No unnecessary physical contact? Arasilla thinks, just try rejecting me again. The crowd gossips. Oh my, Lady Arasilla asked him for a dance. As a gentleman, I can't refuse. Demian relents. Very well. He takes her hand. Demian says, then allow me to escort you to the hall. He takes Arasilla's hand, and they walk together. From Iris' point of view, she thinks, they're really dating. The narration says, and so Arasilla and Demian perfectly fooled everyone. As they walk to the center of the ballroom, the crowd cheers, have fun, Lord Vandermeer. After a tearful effort, they reach the final step. Arasilla thinks, I feel sick. The music plays as they prepare to dance. Demian whispers, when are you going to announce the marriage? Arasilla answers, I'll do it when this dance ends. Demian grumbles, were you that desperate to get back at me? You're so petty. Just relax your face, will you? People might think we're fighting. Arasilla says my expression isn't bad just because of that. Demian asks, then why? She replies, it's just. Demian admits, I don't like dancing, that's all. Suddenly a messenger arrives, a message from His Highness the Crown Prince. Lady Arasilla Hugo will now make an important announcement. Iris in the crowd watches Arasilla and Demian stand on stage. Arasilla thinks, finally, it's time for the marriage announcement. And here she declares, I am getting married to none other than Lord Demian Vandermeer. We'll be sending out invitations soon, so please do come celebrate with us. The crowd erupts. What? Lady Arasilla Hugo and Lord Vandermeer? Demian is left speechless, thinking she just dropped that with no context. Is she really crazy? Arasilla, proud, says that's all I had to say, so please enjoy the rest of the party. Frederick calls out, wait, Arasilla, please explain clearly. Arasilla turns. Frederick, he asks, marriage? What do you mean by that? The narration introduces Frederick as the second prince of the Citron Empire. Arasilla is surprised to see Demian again. The crowd goes wild. Kia! It's Lord Vandermeer! Demian stands tall, drawing attention from everyone in the ballroom. Arasilla extends her hand. Lord Vandermeer, will you grant me a dance? The crowd reacts with excitement and disbelief. Demian hesitates, unsure how to respond. The scene flashes back to the academy entrance ceremony 7 years ago. Frederick, nervous, rushes to the ceremony, worried he'll be late. He spots a girl with purple hair and asks, "Excuse me, miss, do you know which building the entrance ceremony is being held in?" Arasilla points, "It's over there." Frederick is stunned by her beauty. The narration says, "That day, Frederick fell for Arasilla." Back in the present, Arasilla announces, "I am getting married to none other than Lord Demian Vandermeer. I'll be sending out invitations soon, so I hope to see you all at the wedding." Frederick looks heartbroken. The narration says he is still trapped in this one-sided, tragic love. Frederick stands in shock, his eyes wide and sad. Frederick demands, "Explain in detail." "Marriage? What are you talking about?" Arasilla looks uncomfortable. Frederick says, "You've never once mentioned marriage to me before." Someone calls out, "Prince Frederick, greetings, Your Highness the Crown Prince." Frederick stands alone in the center of the ballroom, realizing, "For a moment, I've forgotten that so many people are watching. I've made a scene in front of everyone." Arasilla calls, "Prince Frederick." He turns, embarrassed. Arasilla approaches Frederick and asks, "Could we move somewhere more private to chat?" They walk to the garden. Arasilla says, "It's rare to see you this shaken up. You're always saying a crown prince must be dignified." Frederick admits, "It's because you suddenly said you're getting married." Frederick asks, "Are you really marrying Sir Vandermeer? I mean, Hess a knight and you're a mage." Arasilla responds, "Yeah, I know, so what?" Frederick reminds her, "But didn't you say you'd stay forever single?" Arasilla says, "I changed my mind." Frederick asks, "Then don't you remember?" Frederick recalls, "The promise we made back at the academy library? Hey Arasilla, if we're both still single at 40, should we just marry each other?" Arasilla laughs. "Our marriage promise? How could I possibly remember that? That was 7 years ago, we were kids." Frederick insists, "But you clearly asked me to marry you back then." Arasilla says, "You were obviously joking, so I just played along. Did you really think I was serious? Still, to announce that you're getting married out of the blue like this, without even telling me first. You know how much I care about you. How much you worry about me as well." Arasilla apologizes. "I am sorry if it upset you that I didn't tell you in advance. But Frederick," Arasilla explains, "this marriage was a decision I've carefully thought through, so please respect my choice." Frederick stands silently, hurt. People gossip, a mage and a knight getting married. Isn't this going to cause a big stir? The news of Arasilla and Demian's engagement sweeps through the empire. At the Hugo residence, Arasilla asks, "Are you ready?" Demian replies, "I am not." He complains, "Didn't you tell me about this meeting in a letter just last night?" Arasilla says, "Isn't the sooner the better?" Demian asks, "Is there anything I should be aware of when meeting your family?" Arasilla says, Just one thing." Suddenly, Adrian bursts in, "I object to this marriage. Please don't take my sister away." Iris chases after him, yelling, "Adrian, our sister is still too young to get married." Adrian cries, "No matter how impressive you are, as the youngest swordmaster, demon slayer, and all that, I still object." Demian thinks, "This kid. How does he know all of that?" Demian addresses him, "Young Master Adrian." Adrian stands his ground. Demian thinks, "Even if a sword were to be pressed to my throat, I would still marry Lady Hugo." Demian asks, "Will you still continue to stand in my way?" Adrian, terrified, starts to cry. Iris rushes over to comfort him as he sobs loudly. The family watches as Adrian is led away, still protesting. Arasilla whispers to Demian, "Sir, didn't you tell me to be prepared to take their second daughter away?" Demian replies, "I didn't mean you should traumatize an 11-year-old while doing it." The family sits down to a tense meal, the atmosphere awkward but determined. Ned Hugo, Arasilla's father, gets straight to the point. "Why did you decide to marry our Arasilla? I've heard it's not for political reasons." "And you know, my second daughter is a bit extraordinary." Demian answers, "Lady Hugo is indeed an exceptional person. That's what drew me to her. I felt that if we got married, I would never be bored." Ned presses, "Is that the only reason you chose marriage? Is that why she makes you end up feeling suffocated?" Demian says, "I'll work it out with her. Through mutual understanding, marriage is one of the most important decisions in life. It's practically a vow to share your entire life with someone." The family listens intently. Arasilla's mother asks, "Lord Vandermeer and Arasilla, are you both truly prepared to spend the rest of your lives together?" She looks at them seriously, wanting to know if they're ready for a lifetime commitment. Arasilla's mother continues, "So I want to ask a question to both Lord Vandermeer and Arasilla, whether you're both truly ready to spend your entire lives together." Arasilla and Demian look at each other, both thinking about the weight of a lifetime together. The silence is heavy. After a long pause, Arasilla's mother says, "If that's how it is, then don't get married." Arasilla and Demian quickly reassure her, "No, Marchioness, it just took us a long time to stop thinking of it as some far-off future." Arasilla adds, "He's right, Mom. We've talked a lot about it, you know?" Arasilla beams, "We're really doing this marriage because it's the most important thing in our lives." Her mother relents, "All right." She warns Demian, "Don't expect Arasilla to support you like any other wife." As you know, Arasilla wants to become the master of the Mage Tower. So instead of hoping for something impossible from my daughter, it might be wiser to stop here. Demian replies, "I am not so lacking that I need help from my wife." Demian confidently states, "Whatever Lady Hugo does after marriage, I have no intention of interfering. I'll live my life and the lady will live hers." Arasilla's mother, surprised, asks, "So you mean even after marriage you won't stop Arasilla from working in the Mage Tower?" Demian replies with certainty, "I have no right to stop her. It's entirely up to Lady Hugo's will." The Hugo family is taken aback by Demian's progressive attitude. The narration highlights that the mages of the conservative Mage Tower are known for their rigidity, but the knights are even more conservative. Demian's open-mindedness surprises the Hugo family, and their hearts begin to warm up to him. Arasilla playfully gives Demian a thumbs up, saying, "Kid, not bad." The family shares a laugh, feeling more at ease with him. Ned Hugo chuckles, "Looks like the two really had a lot of conversations."